This is rural Myanmar, otherwise known as Burma. Here in Phea Deanery, about 300 kilometres north of Yangon, landless farmers and casual labourers earn only a few dollars a day for their work tending crops and raising livestock to feed their families. Working the land is physically demanding here because it's often done without the aid of machinery or advanced irrigation. David and other farmers irrigate and harvest their crops all by hand. It's hard work, but for these farmers it's one of very few ways of generating an income. In season, they grow produce such as berries, corn, onions and rice for sale and for local consumption. And in the drier months, many families resort to collecting from an ever-dwindling supply of firewood to trade. Parents like Win and Nang say that in addition to agricultural challenges, they're also concerned about the region's lack of safe water and the barriers to a quality education that face their children and other families in this part of Myanmar. But despite these challenges, families in the region are working with the church for a better future. With program funding and support of ABM working in partnership with the Church of the Province of Myanmar, the future hopes of people like Win and Nang and their community are gradually becoming realised. Recently, development workers in the Diocese of Yangon began a process of community consultation with residents in Win and Nang's village. This process began with the church's development workers establishing a local development committee made up of residents who began mapping out the assets and strengths of their village and exploring how these can be best utilised in their context. The residents identified animal rearing as the key strength of their village and decided that the best way forward would be to further develop their capacity as a village to raise livestock and to share knowledge and skills with others by taking part in the church's animal rearing program. But before this can happen, the community have been working to address the critical issue of not having reliable access to a safe and secure drinking water source. Water is an ongoing concern for many communities in Myanmar because it has the potential to affect so many parts of life. At present, villagers use their own buckets to draw drinking water from a single well that usually dries up for 2 months of the year. Fetching water takes time and energy, and there's also a significant risk that the open well will become contaminated like other wells and streams in the area. Once a water source is contaminated, it is very difficult to reverse the damage without specialised infrastructure, and the effects of the contamination can be quite far-reaching. To address this issue, this community has been working with the church to develop a plan to drill a tube well for communal use that is located in the village rather than down on the farmlands. A tube well that will be funded by ABM will ensure the community has access to clean drinking water all year round. It will also radically reduce the risk of cross-contamination from unsafe water handling that threatens their current open well and storage tanks. With access to clean water, this community is sure to experience improvements in many areas of life, as well as having more time and energy to engage in productive work. So after making improvements to the water situation, this community will be taking part in the church's livestock rearing and redistribution program. Win and Nang and their 2 children are one of the participating families who will be loaned several head of pigs and cows to rear. After 1 to 2 years, they will give half of the young back to the church for redistribution so that other families may take part. The new receiving families rear the animals until they produce young, and the cycle of redistribution by giving and receiving continues. What's so special about this initiative is that it actually places people like Win and Nang in a position to be giving back to others, as well as equipping them with new knowledge and experience to share with new participants in the program, not to mention generating income from the sale of livestock. This program is empowering not only for individuals like Win and Nang, but for entire communities as well. This asset-based approach recognises contextual strengths and resources already available in a community that can be built upon and developed in order to overcome a range of challenges one step at a time. Challenges like malnutrition, barriers to a quality education, and food and water security. The Church of the Province of Myanmar's cooperative approach with this program is a fine example of what working together as partners can look like, both locally and globally. So let us give thanks for the fruit that comes from the worldwide church working together for love, hope, and justice, and for all of the opportunities that partnership in mission can create.